Good morning, students. Today, let us deal with the Coulomb inverse square law. Coulomb inverse square law. See, after learning about the charges, Coulomb, after his investigations, he concluded that when two charges are present, let us say charge q1 and charge q2 are separated by a distance smaller, then he hypothesized that the force is directly proportional to the product of charges. This force is due to the repulsion, maybe attraction. If like charges are there, repulsion. If unlike charges are there, attraction will be there. See, and also the force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. As the distance increases, the force decreases. As the distance decreases, the force increases with the square in the denominator. That is why it is called inverse square law. Now, combining these two, the resultant force of attraction or repulsion is directly proportional to the product of charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Now, F is equal to, let us say, some constant K into Q1, Q2 divided by R square. Here K is called proportionality constant. Proportionality constant. And say this is equation number 1. It is found that the value of K is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught in free space. In free space. And in SI units, this is in SI units. When the unit changes, the constant value also changes. In system international units, the value of constant is found to be 4 pi epsilon naught, 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. Here, the value of epsilon naught is equal to 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12 units. If you take Newton, this we call Coulomb square per Newton meter square. Now, where epsilon naught is called permittivity of the free space. Permittivity of this free space. Now the question comes, what is permittivity? Now you see, these two charges are there in free space. They may be in air, they may be in water, they may be in oil, they may be in any other medium. If the medium changes, then the value of the force of attraction changes. So if the medium is free air, the force of attraction value becomes this much with a constant epsilon naught is equal to this much, and that property of the medium is called permittivity of that medium. Here free space is the medium, it is the property of the free space called permittivity of the free space for the electric force of attraction. This is what we can understand from this. Now let us substitute this value in equation number 1. We write F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 by R square. Say this is equation number 2. This is the magnitude of the force. What is this? This is the magnitude of the force. Fine. Now we know force is a vector. but we also know that charge is a scalar. Then how do we get force as a vector? But the vector quantity is not by the charges. This is due to the distance or the displacement between the two charges, the direction of displacement between the two charges. So let us take for the direction of force, let us take, this is the charge Q2 and this is the charge Q1. Suppose Q1 is repelled by the force Q2, then we write the distance between these two will be R12. That is, the distance direction is towards 1 from 2, and here we also write the force on 1 by the 2, and then we write force F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 divided by R12 square into R12 direction. This we can understand. This is the force direction. And similarly, we also write F21. For F21, we write 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 divided by R21 square towards the direction R21. Here we can write, this is equation 4, and the direction will be, here Q1 is constant and Q2 will be repelled by the Q1 in a direction here to here, that is 2 1 towards 2 from 1. Say this force we write as F21. So this is the direction of the force. And we know from Newton's third law, the force towards Q1 is equal to the force towards Q2. Both are equal and in opposite direction. So we write magnitude of F12 is equal to magnitude of F21. This we can understand. So this is from Newton's third law. See, here we understood something about this force acting between the two charges and Coulomb's inverse square law, using Coulomb's inverse square law. Now, let us solve one problem based on this. For example, this is a problem. Here, these two are two identical charges. Let us say this charge is Q1, this charge is Q2. Now, the charge on this will be Q1 and the charge on this will be maybe plus or maybe minus, you can take anything. So, Q2. You see, the charge is always on the surface of the body. When these two are brought together, these two are identical bodies. When these two are brought together, the charge is shared equally on them. And when they are separated, now the charges are changed with changed charges. Now the question is, if the force acting between these two is F, then what is the force acting between these two? And the separation of distance will be R, and here also the same separation of the distance. So here, let us write the problem. When two identical spheres are charged to Q1 and Q2 respectively, are separated by a distance small r, then the force acting between them is F. Full stop. Now, if they are brought together and placed at the same position, then what is the resultant force acting on them? This is my question. Now here hint I am giving, hint Q dash is equal to Q1 plus Q2 by 2 and Q2 dash is also equal to Q1 plus Q2 by 2. Why? Because the charge is shared equally between the two spheres as they are identical bodies. So, if it is greater, this is transferred to that till the potential becomes equal. As the identical bodies, equal potential they have, so equally charge is distributed. So then we will get equal charge distribution. And R remains constant. Use the force formula, take ratio, you will get the answer in terms of the F. And this is the question for you. Okay. Now we will go for the second model. This is based on the magnitude 1 problem. Now let us go for the next problem, problem number 1. This is. Now we will go for the problem number 2, based on the direction of force. Suppose if 3 charges of equal magnitude Q, let us say this is Q and this is also Q and this is also Q, placed on the vertices of an equilateral triangle, let us say, right? Then what is the resultant force acting on one of these 3 charges? For example, ఈ charge మీద ఎంత force పనిచేస్తుంది? This is our question. See here how to solve this problem. Here the distance is same, let us say r for easy. This is also r, this is also r, as it is equilateral triangle. Now here, as these are equal charges, repulsive force acts in this direction by this charge, and the repulsive force acts on this charge in this direction, and this angle is 60 degrees. This angle will also be 60 degrees. Then as the force, if it is F, this will also become F. Now resultant force is the vector sum of these two forces. So here the solution, first we have to find the force F. F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 by R square. Q1 is equal to Q, Q2 is equal to Q. And the same force. So secondly, theta is equal to 60 degrees. And here F1 is equal to F2, that is equal to F, let us say. Then what is the resultant force F dash acts between these two in this direction? Then F dash is equal to, we write square root of, that is F1 square plus F2 square plus 2F1 F2 cos theta. This is the formula from the vector addition parallelogram law of vectors, which we studied at intermediate standard. So then we can write this as, when forces are equal, F square plus F square plus 2F square cos theta. Now on writing in a half angle cos theta, we write 2F square is common, 1 plus cos theta. See, for half angle, how do we write? See, we have the formula cos square theta minus sin square theta is equal to cos 2 theta. Let us convert this sin square theta into cos terms. Say cos square theta minus 1 minus cos square theta is equal to cos 2 theta. See, here we write cos theta plus cos square theta minus 1 plus cos square theta. 2 cos square theta minus 1 is equal to cos 2 theta. 2 cos square theta is equal to 1 plus cos 2 theta. Now using this identity, we can write 1 plus cos theta is equal to 2 cos square theta by 2 is equal to 1 plus cos theta. Substituting this in this equation, we get f dash is equal to square root of 2f square into 2 cos square theta by 2. There we get just simply 2f cos theta by 2. So therefore, f dash is equal to 2 into f is equal to, we have this value, into cos theta by 2 is equal to 60 by 2, that is equal to cos 30. Cos 30 is equal to root 3 by 2. So 2f into cos 30, right? Since theta is equal to 60 degrees. Here we write 2 into 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into, we write q by r square into root 3 by 2. These two will get cancelled. The resultant will be the answer. This is how we can calculate the resultant force using vector addition. Thank you, dear students. We will stop here and in the next class we see further. Okay? See you tomorrow.